Hello everyone, my name is Amal. So today I will be presenting on the securing email protocols, POP3S and also the SMTPS. I will go over how they work, how to configure them in Linux and also Windows environments, and also then review some important hardening recommendations. Finally, we will look at how to verify these services are like when it comes to your lab setup. All right, so as I already said, I will introduce the POP3S and also show how to configure it with the dope code in Linux. Next, I will explain SMTPS and also how to configure it using the both IIS and also in Windows and postfix in Linux. For both protocols, I will go over hardening recommendations that secure them against common threats. Finally, I will cover how we verify in our labs using Nmap to check that the ports are open and secure. All right. So next I'm going to talk about the POP3 or POP3S. So POP3 actually stands for Post Office Protocol version 3. It has been around for a long time and is mainly used by the email clients to download messages from the server. The standard POP3 protocols run on port 110, which is insecure because it sends data in a plain text. So POP3S is the secure version which runs on port 995. It adds like TLS or SSL encryption to protect the login credentials and email while they are being transferred. And this is important because without encryption, attackers can easily capture usernames and passwords and email content. Then configuring the POP3S with Dovecode. So on Linux, we typically use Dovecode to provide POP3 and IMAP services. The configuration steps are just to first install the Dovecode using app install Dovecode, IMAPD Dovecode POP3D. Then next, edit the configure file to enable the POP3 and also the POP3S protocols. Then in the SSL, configure the file, just set SSL to record and point to the certificate and also the key files. And finally, restart the dove code so the changes take effect. At this point, the POP3S services should be listening on the port 995, which is the POP3S, which is for secure. Then the hardening recommendations. So just enabling the POP3S is not just enough. We also need to harden it. So enforce modern TLS versions like TLS 1.2 or 1.3 and disable the old SSL versions. Only allow strong ciphers use, preventing the downgrade attacks. We use tools like fail to ban or Dovecode's built-in settings to limit the failed login attempts. This will help to prevent the brute force attacks. Run Dovecode with the least privileges possible to reduce the impact if the service is compromised. So next, we're just going to talk about the SMTP or SMTPS, which is also the same as like the one we just mentioned. The POP3 and also the POP3S. S stands for secure, which has like the using the SSL or TLS. So SMTP, which is known as like the simple mail transfer protocol, and it is responsible for sending the email between the servers. The insecure versions run on port 25, which sends traffic encrypted. I mean like unencrypted. So the SMTPS is a secure version, typically running on port 465, and also it encrypts the traffic using SSL/TLS. So this is critical because without it, attackers could intercept the messages or abuse the mail server as a spam relay. So the SMTPS helps maintain the both confidentiality and also the trust in the email system. Then configuring the SMTPS on the Windows. Um, So on Windows, we configured the SMTPS using IAS and also the built-in SMTP server feature. So first enable the SMTP server role from the server manager, then open IAS manager and also configure the SMTP virtual server. set it up, use port 465, and also assign an SSL certificate. Finally, configure the relay restrictions so only authenticator users or specific IPs can relay messages. This will prevent abuse by spammers. And next, I'm just going to talk about the hardening recommendations for IIS SMTPS. For IIS, the hardening recommendations are like recur authentications before allowing relay, force the use of modem TLS versions, and also disabled all SSL protocols, restrict relay access to all to the only trusted networks or other IP addresses. So these steps greatly reduce the risk of the server being used for spam or compromised through the weak encryption. So next, I'm just going to talk about configuring the SMTPS on Linux. So on Linux, the most common mail transfer agent is postfix. So first install it with the apt install postfix. Then edit the main configuration file to enable the TLS by providing the path to your certificate and key. In this configuration, set SMTPD underscore TLS underscore security underscore level is equal to encrypt, which voices the encryption. Then finally, you can actually restart the postfix, so it's begin listening on port 465 for the SMTPS connections. So next, I'm actually going to talk about the SMTPS hardening with the postfix. So for postfix, the recommended hardening steps are enforce the strong ciphers and also only allow the TLS 1.2 or higher, enabling logging and also the monitoring so you can actually detect if there is any suspicious SMTP activity going on, or disable open relay by properly configuring the recipient restrictions. This ensures that your server is only relays mail for the legitimate users, which is very important. So out of all these recommendations, like the hardening recommendations, most of them are kind of same because those are like the one of the biggest main hardening recommendations that we have to follow for all of those. Mainly, like we have to make sure that we're running on the secure system, secure port, and also has like the SSR or TLS. The, so the lab. For the next one, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about the lab verification with the Nmap. So in our lab environment, we don't need a fully functioning the email services. So the goal is to just verify that secure ports are listening. So to do this ones, we can just use the Nmap, just run the server IP, then confirms the POP3S is active and also the SMTPS is active. That's pretty much we have been looking, which is actually we have to do it for both Windows and also the Linux, and also we pretty much looking is this active or not. So as long as the port shows up or open, we can just go through your requirements and also take the screenshot of those and just complete the lab assignment. So conclusion, okay, just wrap up. So today we talked about the POP3S and also the SMTPS, which are like the secure versions of traditional email protocols. We configured them with the Dove code on Linux, IIS on Windows, and also the postfix on the Linux. Hardening is just as important as enabling them. So things like enforcing the modern TLS or disabling the old protocols and also preventing open relay attacks are crucial. And in the lab, you only need to demonstrate the services are listening securely on the respective ports. And that's pretty much it. I guess we covered pretty much all the topic. Yeah, I think we pretty much covered all the topic for the POP3S. We explained how to do code and the postfix Linux and also the IIS and also all the hardening recommendation. Yep, that's it. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Otherwise, you guys have a good night. All right. Thank you.